Fiberglassing the body. To fiberglass the body, we chose an 8.5 ounce fabric from ThayerCraft.com, style 7725. This bidirectional twill fiberglass fabric has a Volane 504 finish that can be used with any resin and has excellent drapeability. This fabric really was very easy to work with and flowed very well, even around the sharp edges on the rear section of the body. It was truly amazing to watch a straight line cut in the fabric, and then with the gentlest of tugs, the cut edge would move inches out of alignment. Also, this fabric has a tendency to unravel since it is not a dense weave. While it did cost a little more up front, ease of application more than made up for that, especially for a novice. If you're using styrofoam in your project, as we did, you will want to stay away from polyester resins. Typically, the styrene and polyester resins will dissolve the styrofoam. The epoxy we purchased was from jgreer.com, Aeromarine 300/21. Even though this product has a slow cure time, about 30 minutes at specified temperatures, and even longer in cooler temperatures and higher humidity situations, I suggest you only mix small batches of resin at a time, even if you're using it on large projects. Mix too much and the resin will cure before you get it all used up. If it starts gelling, throw it out. Don't try to use it. We began the process by measuring and then cutting long sections of fabric. For example, we used one continuous section to cover the rear, and we were able to fit the cloth around all the edges and curves. Also, the rear fenders were covered with a single piece of fabric. The car took on a strange, almost ghostly appearance as we covered it with the white fiberglass fabric. Something else that was a complete surprise was when the white fiberglass cloth is wet with the epoxy, it becomes completely transparent. Here's a picture of me working on the left rear fender. As the epoxy is applied, the old blue fiberglass can be clearly seen. The fiberglass all flowed perfectly into the corners and adhered to the curves without any additional cuts. The goal is to fully encapsulate the styrofoam with at least 2 layers of fiberglass on the exterior and even 3 in high stress areas, and then at least 1 layer on the inside. This makes for a very strong structure, as the ribs are now a permanent part of the body. Make sure you sand the fiberglass between layups and then clean thoroughly to remove all dust and moisture. This will help ensure the second layer bonds to the first layer. Continue this process until you have reached the desired thickness. Again, usually 2 or at most 3 layers will be sufficient. Body filler and finishing. After you have finished the fiberglass layups, it's time to prepare the surface of the body. The next step is to put a skim coat of body filler over the exterior of the body. For our body, this required almost 5 gallons of filler. We tried 2 different brands. About 40% of the first coat was covered with Bondo brand, and the rest was covered with a product called Dyna Delight. This only cost about $1 more per gallon. However, we found it went on very smooth and was very easy to sand. Carefully mix the body filler with the hardener that is supplied. Follow the directions and be careful not to use too much hardener. Add too much hardener and in just a couple of minutes the filler will become unusable. Using a little less means the filler will take a little longer to completely cure. Not necessarily a bad thing if you're a novice. Mix only a small amount, about the size of a golf ball. That's an amount that would cover just a couple of square feet. You will need to be able to apply and smooth the filler in less than 5 minutes. Longer than that and the filler starts to become too thick and tacky to use. The smoother the finish at this point, the less you will have to do later. After the filler has started to set up, but before it's completely cured, you'll want to file off any ridges and rough spots. How long it takes for the body filler to reach this point depends on several factors, including temperature, humidity, and the amount of hardener that was used in the mix. Use a Surform file, often referred to as a cheese grater, to remove the high points. If the file skips over the surface without biting into the body filler, it's already too late and you will have to level that area with a sander. As the file bites into the body filler, the material should come off in small curled pieces. Immediately after using the file, sand with a 40 grit paper to remove the file marks. Finally, clean using compressed air and a fresh rag and a little acetone to remove all the dust, waxes, and contaminants from the body. Go back over the body and fill in any low spots with body filler and resand again. Sand the entire body with a 120 grit paper to prepare the surface for the primer coat. After you have finished coating and sanding the body, you'll want to carefully cut the necessary holes for doors, hatches, or lights. Since our design did not have any doors, The only additional cuts we had to make were for an opening over the batteries in the motor, the lights, and the turn signals. Go slow and take your time. Any mistakes made here will be clearly visible in the finished product, so errors must be corrected. Clean the body again, and this time follow up with a product such as Feather Fill. This spray-on product fills in the minor gaps and imperfections in the surface. You will have to repeat the sand, clean, and paint process several times until you achieve your desired level of quality. As you sand, use progressively finer grains of sandpaper. When you have a smooth, blemish-free surface, you're ready to use your choice of color for the final coats of paint. The $200 paint booth. As you complete the body and begin to think about spray painting, you have to start asking yourself, now what? How do I get set up to paint the body? Painting outside in the open elements is only asking for trouble. You need a clean, dust-free, and bug-free environment. If you don't have the cash to have the car professionally painted, there is a simple solution. Portable, tent-type garages are available from several sources, such as Harbor Freight and Northern Hydraulics. Prices currently start at under $100 for the basic 10 by 20 garage. For another $70, you can purchase sidewalls. Try to purchase these items locally. They were the same price online, however, shipping is extra and it was about half the cost of the product. You will need some additional supplies. Go ahead and purchase duct tape and a roll of plastic. Put the car inside the garage and seal the sides and the door, making the structure as airtight as possible. You will also need 2 large box fans. These are typically available at Walmart for under $15 each. Cut the plastic and fit the fans so that one fan is drawing air into the paint booth and the other fan is an exhaust fan. Tape an air conditioner filter to the appropriate side of each fan. Certainly this is not as perfect a solution as a professional paint booth, however, it is simple and cost effective, and it's much better than the alternative of painting in the open air.